it was up to you guys and you decided you wanted to see homemade cough drops. So we're going to go through the ingredients, get everything going, thicken it up to a nice candy syrup, get it to a hard crack is what they call it, dollop it out on the wax paper, and coat it with a little bit of powdered sugar. And you know, in this day and age, you don't want to be coughing in public, so this might be a good thing. All right, so the ingredients for today is going to be 1 lemon, some honey, about a 1/4 cup, a little less, a 1/2 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, 1 ground clove, yeah, it's going to be about a 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. We're going to combine all that into a saucepan, get it to a little bit higher than a simmer. Now, the secret with this is, once it hits a simmer, do not stir it. If you stir it, you crystallize the sugar and it all falls apart. So, we're going to go ahead and get started on that, and I'll bring you guys back. Well, actually, let's just get started on that. We're going to turn our pan on high, and we're going to add in the 1 cup of sugar. I'm going to step around to the camera and make sure you guys can see all this. Yeah, you can see what you need to for right now. Our 1/2 cup of water. Now we're going to roll out this lemon, get it a little more juiced up. Cut that in half. Take the seeds out that we can obviously see. You squeeze the lemon into your hand first, you catch most of those seeds. Okay, looks like I got 1 little seed in there. I'm going to get him out of there before it gets too bad. Roll my hands off with a paper towel. And then we're going to start on the spices, or the herbs, I guess, technically. Use clove is good and oily in there. We can open that up a little more. There we go. About a 1/4 teaspoon there. Another teaspoon of ginger. Got to hurry because we are starting to simmer a little bit. We don't want to stir that, remember. 1/4 of turmeric. Whew, that's going to add a little spice to it. And then ladle in some real dark honey. And you can be fairly liberal with that honey. Get that all stirred in together. We're going to shut the heat back off just for a second. Now that we got it warm, kind of stir that honey around. Get the turmeric all broke up, move through it. Just hold on just a second. I'll lift that camera up so you guys can take a peek here. All right. So we're going to get this all stirred in. That way we can get the herbs and everything mixed throughout. Now that it warmed up enough to dissolve that honey a little bit. Now, let's get our heat back on. Now this is a convection, or this is actually a, oh, I can't remember. It's an induction heat. So this isn't going to take near as long as, standard gas stove. So keep that in mind. Patience is a virtue here. You can already see it starting to bubble there. And remember, as this goes, we need to make sure that we are not stirring it. We've done our stirring, all the stirring that we can do. Now the only thing you're doing is just taking as much water out as you can and getting it down to a hard crack, they call it. It's where the sugars and everything combine, and it can actually harden at that point. Now, with the amount of honey that we put in, it may have some trouble. I'll turn that down a little bit. It's going to have a little bit of trouble hardening up. Now I'm going to get me a glass of cold water, and I will show you why here after this hardens up. If you don't have a candy thermometer, it's a really easy way to do a hard crack test, and I'll show you how that's done. Whew. That smells good. It almost smells like an herbal tea. Almost like, you remember my grandma used to make what was called a Russian tea. And it's pretty close to that. Now, I know you're thinking that your pan's going to be a disaster, but believe it or not, it cleans up pretty easy with just some hot water, hot soapy water. That's pretty much it, guys. We're just going to watch this cook off a little bit. And get rid of as much of that moisture as you can. Get rid of the water and the water and the lemon juice, and just basically you're shooting for extract at that point. You see how those bubbles are starting to get larger before they pop? That means you're getting a thicker consistency. We're taking more of the water out of this. Okay, so we're going to test for hard crack here in just a second, as soon as those bubbles disappear, where I can get to the liquid. I'm just going to take a little bit on the spoon, drip it in the water. And I can tell you we're not there yet. We're really close. You guys look in the bottom there, you see how I don't know if you can tell, but the drops flattened out when they hit. So we're going to send her through a little more. Alright, so you can see how a good majority of the bubbles have now subsided. This is still very hot, but what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it over to a parchment paper and pour it out. Going to let it cool slightly, and then I'll show you how to cut it. What you do, if you don't have a candy thermometer, you can do what's called a hard crack test. You take and drip it in and see how it creates little balls. I don't know if you guys can see that very well in the camera. That means it's going to harden up when it's cold. You can see that one actually left a string to the spoon. So let's get this moved over and get her handled. Now this part you got to move a little quick. This is going to cool a lot faster than one might think. And as we pour that out, you'll see here. Ain't gonna take it long to start thickening up on the paper. Go ahead and take a spatula, scoop out what you can. Save the mess of the clean up a little bit. Whew. Man, that turmeric is strong. Whew. You can already see that starting to cool off pretty quick. Gonna flatten this out a little more. Give it a chance to run. And then once that's cooled down enough, I'll show you what we're gonna do with it. All right, so I'm gonna kind of show you what I've been doing here. Once you pour this out, it's stays good and hot for quite a while. And if you've ever watched those guys that pull Laffy Taffy, or hard taffy, I guess I should say, it's about the same technique. I like to introduce a little air to them. Helps them dissolve a little better in your mouth. You can see how that's getting kind of almost a metallic color to it as you pull it. What you're doing is introducing air into the sugars and gives it that nice shiny gold look. You can pull this as many times as you want, do whatever you like, or don't do it at all. Just pour it out and cut it, call it good. Either way it works. And I like to stretch those out. We're going to let them cool in kind of that form. Same thing on this one. Roll it out a little bit, introduce some air, get it that nice shiny gold color that we're wanting. Make it look like some really fancy candy. Makes the kids maybe want to use these. So we're gonna roll these into a rope. Kind of pull, then pull down to the length. Maybe I should pull a little further down here. There we go. Okay, and then you can see some of these that I've already cut. Cut them a little early, but I wanted to kind of show you guys where everything was at. This one's been cooling a little longer, so it's a little harder to pull. I've already pulled them once. There we go. And now once those cool down all the way, I'll show you how I break them, and we put a little powdered sugar on these so they don't stick. Or you can do this lovely little do-witchy if you feel like it. Make it look like a real old-fashioned piece of candy. Roll that up, twist the ends. But I'll show you the easy way to store these without having to roll every one of them up. When we come back, we're going to be cutting these into bite-sized pieces. What I would suggest you do is get yourself a good pair of shears that's clean, and you can see them kind of shear it. They kind of snap. Actually, these are probably cool enough we can do this now. Oops, don't let them touch. Not until they're all the way cooled off. They are quite sticky in this form. A lot of that has to do with the honey. Honey doesn't have a tendency to harden up as much as sugar. So, and the nice part is you can make these as big as servings or as small as servings as you'd like. So, we're just gonna keep doing this When we come back, we'll show you how to powder sugar them and coat them a little bit so makes them stay a little longer. And we'll get them into a storage container. Okay, now that we got our pieces all cut up, we are going to put a little powdered sugar in a bowl. Give me just a minute, it'll be in screen here shortly. A little powdered sugar in a bowl, and we're gonna start throwing the candies in. Now the whole time you kind of want to be shaking them around so they don't stick to each other like these three. I'm hoping that's in screen. There we go. Don't want them to touch each other. They are still super sticky. Let's see, we shake that up. Get some powdered sugar back on top. Throw some more in. Shake those around. Get them coated up. Throw some more in. And we're just going to keep repeating this till we get them all in there. Well, you can tell they definitely hardened up a little bit. Okay. Toss them around a little more. Throw a few more in. Oop. Two stuck together. Let's toss these guys around in, and we're going to take some of these out of here. I'm going to make sure they're good and coated though first. And this is a lot like making an old-fashioned hard candy, guys. We'll take our slotted spoon, knock some of these to the top, get a hold of a good scoop of them, dump them out. Then we're going to get some of these to the top. Dump those out. You guys notice how little they're sticking to each other now. Now you can do this with cornstarch if you don't want to do the added sugar. I mean, I know there is a fair amount of sugar in this recipe, so if you're more comfortable with that instead of powdered sugar, that's fine. That one got good and coated. Let's see here, we've got a couple more. I think that's it for that bunch. I kind of spread them out a little bit and let the powder fall off them as much as I can. I don't like a whole bunch of powdered sugar on here. Don't get me wrong. Let's put a few more in there. Oops. Damn thing's touched. Touch too long. When we get all done here, we're going to count all these up. I'll tell you how many cough drops you made with that little bit of ingredients. Not a whole lot of money spent there. And these, I'm telling you, these are the best dang cough drops. They take that nasty tickle in the back of your throat that you always have this time of year. right out. I tell you, we have a fair amount of cough drops here. All right, I'm gonna go get my fingers unsugared, and we're gonna put these in a mason jar. Count up how many we got. Okay. So I'll count these up and then I'll be back with you guys. Okay, folks, got them counted up. We have 63 total cough drops. And these buggers, I'm telling you, they're best cough drops I've used in a long time. They're not as eucalyptus-y as Hall's, but to me they sure help my throat and my cough better than anything you got at the store. And you'll notice with that honey, they're still soft. I mean, they're still pliable. I wouldn't call them necessarily soft, but you can see there that. But one thing you'll notice, once they get in your mouth, you get a big shot of honey, big shot of lemon. The turmeric kind of comes in after. Ginger, cloves kind of gets to, I don't want to say burn in your throat, but it puts a little spice in your throat, gets things kind of moving. But man, are they good. They're a lot like an old-time candy. And the nice part is, guys, you know everything that's in here. There's white sugar, water, honey, lemon, turmeric, ginger, and clove. That's it. Isn't that nice when you can pronounce every word that you put in your ingredients? Hopefully you guys like and enjoy these. Try them out. And you know what, if there's a different herb that you want to put in, maybe something that you use more often than the ones that I used, try it. See how it goes. I haven't ever had a problem yet with dry herbs. I haven't had the time to try a fresh herb yet, so. But give them a whirl, see what you think. I can tell you they taste pretty good. I'm sucking on one right now, so. Hopefully you guys find this useful. If you do, make sure to like, share this video. You can head over to Montana Free. That's my new page that I started. I'm gonna cross post for a little while so you guys know where to find me. And if you can, by all means, help me out. You know, help me keep this going and help me continue to grow it. If you can help me, I'd appreciate it if you'd go to Cash App and go to $ Montana Free and give what you can. I completely understand if, you know, right now times are tough and people are having a tough time paying for anything, but if you can help me out, and I will continue to make hopefully what you consider good content. And yeah, next we're going to be doing the I think it was pork jerky, if I remember. We're going to be doing the pork jerky, so have fun, guys. Try this recipe out. It's really easy to do. It saves you a buttload of money. I mean, 63 cough drops. You know what? When I go live here in a little bit, I'll break that price down for you so you know what I'm up against. And yeah, these work a lot better than anything I've used, so give her a try. I promise you won't be disappointed. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you probably tomorrow. All right, thanks.